Exodus begins in Egypt, a land of towering pyramids and crushing oppression. A new Pharaoh has risen, one who does not remember the kindness of Joseph, the Hebrew who once saved Egypt from famine. He looks upon the children of Israel, their numbers swelling, their strength growing, and fear grips his heart. "They are too many," he whispers to his counselors. "If war breaks out, they may side with our enemies." And so the chains tighten. The Hebrews are forced into bitter slavery, their hands rough from brick and mortar, their backs broken under the lash. But oppression only fuels their numbers. Pharaoh's solution: infanticide. Every newborn Hebrew boy must be cast into the Nile. Yet, in the midst of death, hope floats. A desperate mother weaves a tiny basket, lines it with tar, and places her baby boy inside. She sets him adrift on the river that was meant to be his grave. But the river carries him to the daughter of Pharaoh, who draws him from the waters and names him Moses. Moses grows up in the palace, a prince of Egypt, yet Hebrew by blood. He lives in luxury, unaware of the weight of his people's suffering, until one day he sees an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave. Rage overtakes him. He strikes the Egyptian down, burying him in the sand. But the act is seen, and Moses flees into the wilderness, into exile. For 40 years he lives in obscurity, tending sheep in the land of Midian, until the day he sees it, a bush, burning yet not consumed, and then a voice, "Moses, Moses." He falls to the ground. "Take off your sandals," the voice commands, "for the place where you stand is holy ground." It is the voice of the Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he has a mission for Moses. "Go to Pharaoh, tell him to let my people go." Moses trembles. "Who am I to do this?" And God replies, "I will be with you." Armed with a staff and the power of God, Moses returns to Egypt, his voice echoing in Pharaoh's courts. "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go." Pharaoh laughs. "Who is the Lord that I should obey him?" And then the plagues begin. The Nile turns to blood, frogs invade the land, gnats rise from the dust. With each plague, Pharaoh's heart hardens. Locusts devour, darkness swallows the land, and still he refuses, until the final blow, the death of the firstborn. God gives Israel a command: take a lamb without blemish, sacrifice it, and paint its blood on your doorposts. That night, the angel of death sweeps through Egypt, but where the blood is found, he passes over. Pharaoh's resolve shatters. "Go," he cries, "take your people and leave." And so the Hebrews flee, their backs to Egypt, their eyes on the wilderness. But Pharaoh's regret is swift. He gathers his army and pursues them to the edge of the Red Sea. Trapped, the sea before them, Pharaoh's chariots behind. Panic rises. Moses lifts his staff, and the waters part. A path appears, dry land stretching through walls of water. The Hebrews cross, the Egyptians follow, and then the sea collapses, swallowing horse and rider, chariot and soldier. Freedom, but the wilderness is harsh, and the people grumble. "Did you bring us out here to die?" Yet God provides manna from heaven, water from a rock. And at Mount Sinai, amidst fire and thunder, he gives them his law, 10 commandments carved in stone, a covenant between God and his people. But even as Moses stands in the presence of God, the people below turn to idols, forging a golden calf. Rebellion, punishment, mercy. This cycle repeats as they wander for 40 years, refining their faith, shaping their identity. By the end of Exodus, the Israelites are still in the wilderness, but something has changed. They have received God's law, built the tabernacle, and begun to understand what it means to be his chosen people. The journey to the promised land is far from over, but the foundations of their faith have been laid. For as it is written, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Exodus 14:14. Thanks for watching. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.